So go for it now. Um, so real estate, you've been in real estate 10 to 12 years, roughly. Started out as an inside sales associate for another real estate agent. And then you just kind of naturally and gradually veered away from that, became your own agent, started a team. Now you own your own brokerage. So what did that look like? Number one, why did you pick real estate to start a career in that? And then what did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, it's my reasoning to why I got into real estate has changed over the years. I think at the beginning it was all of my closest friends were in real estate, and we're different people, but we're all very similar in how we operate. And college was going okay. I was playing soccer at Western, and that was going well. But the school side of it, I was just kind of struggling with the application of education, and not saying education's bad, but just the application of your kind of conventional education. So I was struggling with that, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and they were like, "What are you doing? This would be your thing." I'm like, "Okay." So I dropped out of college, um, and with 24 credits left, which was I don't know how well received that was in my family, who had been supporting me to go to college. But yeah, then I jumped into real estate, got licensed at Keller Williams, and started with working for one of the bigger teams in the country and kind of jumping into the corporate side, which I think is a really important component that a lot of people don't think about in real estate, especially if they have background in other businesses or they're further into their business career. I'm really happy I did that because I think everybody needs a mentor. I think it's incredibly important. And I also think you need to start at the bottom. I think you need to so you can, if you're going to grow a bigger business, you need to understand what to do when things go wrong. And if you just start at this higher level, you have no idea how to problem solve those kind of smaller level or kind of C level, and not C level in the sense of like companies, but C, like if A is like top priority, big stuff in your company, B is kind of like that middle management stuff, and then C is
Uh-huh.
like the kind of daily bonk task, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't know how to do those things, you don't know how to hire for them, and you don't know what you're good at and what you're not good at. So I think that's really important. That's kind of step one. So started there, started making, yeah, I was making on a lighter day, I'd make 50 or 60 calls, and on a really heavy day, I'd make 800 to 1,000 calls on a dialer, which was,
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot. Um, Teaches you how to understand what people need and to navigate the emotional side of real estate for people, especially in residential. But it just teaches you how to ask for business and not really be too distraught about rejection. And so
So
that's
it
kind of how it started.
teaches you how to be uncomfortable with being able to do the job and still doing a very good job at it.
Yep, I was uncomfortable every day, and I would come home kind of glazy eyed, and then my wife would ask, "How was your day?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think I'm just kind of in the beginning of this thing, and it's okay. It's fine. I'm learning a lot." And so,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but I think a lot of people want to skip that step. And I think the understanding how those roles work, and actually that's the most important role in real estate, I believe.
I
Um,
agree with you. Starting at the bottom and understanding how the base and the foundation starts and how the people work with all of that and not just the people that you're working with, but the clients that you're calling.
exactly. Yeah. And how to ask for business and how to
Mhm.
navigate objections and what's most important to people. I think you can learn, and this sounds bad because I think a lot of companies, which we do this too at our company, but um, you know, teaching people how about contracts is important. But if you know how to do, if you're like the master of contracts and you have no clue how to talk to humans or understand what they need, it's kind of
Uh-huh.
like having all the technical training for a job, but not having a job, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I would lean much more in the other direction of like learn how to grow your business, but have a mentor that is teaching you about contracts at the same time. I just would emphasize learning about people, psychology, how to navigate. how do you meet people when you don't know anybody? How do you like, yeah, just still sales strategies, but it's not even in sales. It's like more about education and psychology and asking questions and, you know, seeking to understand and meet people where they're at, you know? So anyways, that's kind of long explanation for that, but that's, I think the most important or one of the most important traits, which is what we try to do at our company, which is to take the rest of the stuff or leverage that for our agents so they can just do a good job of being in front of people, you know?
Yeah, you have grown your business. Like you went from an ISA or inside sales associate to an individual agent to team building. And then you opened your own brokerage and you have an amazing culture at your office. You have agents that bend over backwards for each other, and you have a team behind you that sounds kind of weird, but you have them up at almost the same level that you do because of the way that they contribute and the way that they want to see how this business grows. They're in it 110% just like you are. And most businesses don't do that. So tell me what led you to number one, starting with that amazing team and then rolling into your own brokerage and growing that side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. One of the best things that I learned at a very early point was from my corporate real estate job, as I call it. It's about leverage. Now, I think leveraging can go too far, and I think the main component is having proper leverage for proper positions, but making sure that the that you stay involved in the most important, most you know relevant pieces of a transaction, which are to be in
Yes.
front of people, negotiate those types of things. But I also think you can over leverage that, and you can just kind of like maybe you hire the wrong people. It
Yes.
feels good to have a big team, and I've been there where we had this at the beginning when we had this big team, but we were the least productive we've ever been.
Mhm.
And so I go, okay, it's not just about people with a pulse; it's about people. And very, very fortunate early on to find Chris, who is our director of operations, and then Tiffany, and then Taylor. And it's kind of wild that when you have a really good partner, leadership team, operations team, they just start attracting more people like them.
Yes.
And people are like, "Oh,
Yes.
you've attracted such a great team." And I'm like, "No, some for some reason Chris took a risk on me and he quit his job where he had a steady salary, got paid less, and he attracted Tiffany. I mean, we all did, but he was the main magnet, right? And so you have someone good in leadership, they attract more good leaders in every position. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he's a kick in
yep.
the pants. He's so much fun.
He's yeah, he's one of the people in my life that knows the most about me, and also, we spend a lot of time together. Yeah, so we very, very fortunate to have someone that you has just been in the trenches, really, you know, with me since day one.
Yeah.
Um, buddy, go on, go on. Sorry, that's my dog. Yeah. So, kind of fast forwarding to like uh, how we got to this point. Um, we left the corporate real estate company, went to a mid-sized company, and started a branch office. And then just starting to realize, and there's lots of positives to that company. And realizing that people are really the most important component of a business. It's not systems are great, branding is cool, marketing is cool, but like if you don't have the people, you don't have the sauce. If you don't have
Perfect.
the people that are excited about being there, the people that are excited about their job, you're compensating them well. It doesn't feel like there's an imbalance of that.
Yeah.
Um, and just realizing that, and very much thanks to your coaching. And by the way, for
Uh,
any of you that listen to this, um, Alice is amazing, and she has a good balance of um, hearing us, hearing where we're at, and then also going, "Yeah, I know what you're capable of, and here's a swift kick in the ass to go do that thing."
you're
And
welcome.
that's really important, you know. Um, anyway, so that's the realizing after many coaching calls with Alice, going, "Okay, I know that you're happy where you are right now, and I know it's like there's nothing bad, but why are you not thinking about this? I'm like, I don't really want to, I don't know if I really want to do that. You're like, you're already doing that. So why don't you just do it and have your own brand and go do this? Oh, no, no, no. And she's like, okay, fine. I'll see you next coaching call. Yeah, we'll talk about it again. I'll remind you
Again.
about it again. And maybe eventually it will settle in. So that's kind of the path to this point. Um, and I also found it was hard to grow a branch office
Mhm.
when you're essentially competing with your own company.
Yes,
And that was,
correct.
we talked a lot about that.
We
And,
did.
we were a big magnet for this company to
Yeah.
bring talent to that company. And they would meet with us and they'd go, well, why don't I just be an agent at this company? And we would have a big influence on these people coming there.
Yes.
Um, and so for me, that's where I started going, Alice, you're right. I'm competitive. I'm bitter about this. It doesn't feel good. And let's talk about making this happen. And
Yep.
that little pivot point, um, it took us from like here to like here.
Yep.
And
Yes,
we're
it
still
did.
not where we want to be yet, but we're getting there because of that change.
Yeah. But part of the whole thing through you starting in an ISA, having your own brokerage, number one, having your own brokerage with what your future vision looks like offers you the freedom to be able to do that, which is amazing. Whereas if you were at another brokerage, that was kind of limited as to what you could do to grow your business the way you wanted to. Which is why I hounded you to open your own brokerage. Um, so, of course, along the way of the course that you're doing this, what are some of the key points about growing your business as far as numbers, knowing your numbers, having goals set in place, and is a lot of people think that having goals and knowing your numbers is exceptionally boring and hitting those. So you're my spreadsheet king. um, but you know your numbers. How has that helped you moving forward with your business? And how has creating the culture that you have, along with the same like minded people to grow their businesses, helped you?
Oh, yeah, I think data and numbers are incredibly sexy, contrary to what popular belief is. I think well, the person that really got me thinking a lot about that initially was Ben Kinney, because he
Mhm.
tracks everything, and that was a big part of my role was tracking. And then Alice, you're very big on goal setting and tracking numbers, and just when you have multiple people in your life that are saying, well, how do you know how your business is doing besides a feeling if you don't know your numbers?
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, we do quarterly meetings with our agents. Here's where you're at. Here's what your goals are. Here's how much money you made. Here are the sources. Here's all the activities that you've done. Here's all the marketing you've been in. How do you feel like you did? And it's really nice self accountability. And everyone in our company are all experienced agents that want that
Yes.
accountability, want a kick in the ass, because or they want a kick in the ass to take more time, right, for
Yeah.
themselves. And so that's we've tried to find that balance. Numbers
Yeah.
help you find that too. Like, dude,
Mhm.
you crushed it this quarter. You need a vacation. Get out of the office. Not just
Yes.
like, oh, you need to do more deals next month. But when we talk about like retention, we talk about recruiting, we talk about retention. I think how are you supposed to know how you can help somebody if they don't tell you what their goals are? Okay, that's step one. How do you know if you're doing your part as the company? I think they put a lot of emphasis on, a lot of companies do, on the agent's accountability deal wise. And I think they're paying you, right? You might be
Yeah.
helping them get deals or keep deals together or whatever it may be, but it's both ways. It has to be meeting, you have to meet each
Yes. Yes, you
other.
do.
And I think the biggest problem at most companies is retention. And so if you do a good job hiring the right person and then you're communicating with them and like opening the door up for, here are your numbers, here's what you did, here's what you didn't do that you wanted to do in your business planning, and what's going well, what's not going well, and just like letting them say like, oh, this, I really hated this. And you're like, you know what, I kind of hate that too, let's stop doing that.
Yeah.
And being, not having too much ego tied up in things that you've created as the owner, being like, maybe it is time to adapt, maybe it is time to change that.
Yep.
um, I have a pretty hefty tracking dashboard, and
Yes,
it
you
tracks everybody's. Every,
yes,
it's
you
been
do.
years in the making. I'm quite proud of it. That well, I can't take credit for it because Cooper and I have done it together. Uh, he's been my guy on that since the early days. Um, but it tracks everything. It shows us like here are our monthly expenses, our profit and loss. Here's how much money we have in the bank. Here's when our big quarters typically are, and it helps us plan ahead for spending money, events, marketing, um, whatever it may be. You don't. All of this to say, I'm sorry, I'm long winded about this. All of this to say, if you don't have something like that, you're lying to yourself. And if you're tracking GCI and you're tracking volume, you're tracking ego numbers. But if you're tracking your net, you actually know what you can change and adjust, and you actually know if your business is healthy or not, you know?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
a lot of agents like to track volume and GCI and how many units they sold. And honestly, my message to you is nobody gives a shit, you know?
It's true.
Nobody gives a shit except for you. Um, and maybe other people that care about stuff like that. But yeah, data's incredibly sexy and it's really important. Yeah.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about um, your culture in the office. And like I said, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, tracking numbers and doing all the work, that's a lot of work. Like, what? You guys have fun. You guys have a lot of fun when you do this. I've seen you guys at parks. I've seen you jumping off of swings. I've seen you playing golf. Your work, your career can be fun. So elaborate a little bit on that one.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to surround yourself with fun people that enjoy life and enjoy um, who they are and enjoy their nerdiness and enjoy their quirks and enjoy each other's quirks. We're all pretty different, but
Mhm.
really, I think you have to establish mission, vision, and values. You know, um, and and you can't just do it as the owner. You have to say, "Hey, we're going to do this," and I want it to be something that we all create together. And I want us all to not just me, but all of us have a discussion about what is our vision, right? If you get people to be able to be a part of creating what is our mission? Why are we doing this? Why do we show up to
Yes.
this? What is our vision for what we want the future to look like and how we want to change the way things are done? And what are our values? What are the principles that we operate by that you can put on a wall? So you go, yeah, that whole integrity thing. I'm like questioning my own integrity right now. I could probably just go back to doing the thing that's harder or not necessarily the best for me, but is ultimately the right thing to do, right?
Mhm.
And what we found by that is um, it's a slower build when you're not cutting corners, but man, is it worth it? It always comes back tenfold, and it comes back in weird, mysterious ways that
It does.
you can't actually necessarily. It's like return on impact versus return on investment, right? It's hard to tangibly put a finger on where did this come from, and you're like, oh, maybe if I just keep being a good, trying to be the best version of myself and be a good person and provide value, these types of things will just keep happening. Um, so as far as culture goes, yeah, we want to make it fun because I don't think real estate is just about selling homes. And I'm not going down the cheesy route of like the client's the hero because I see people post stuff like that. Client, you want to make it an awesome experience for the client, but like when you say the client's the hero and you did a lot of work to make this thing happen, it's kind of a disingenuous way of, you know, celebrating. But if you recognize that the real estate process is not just about posting something and saying you just made money or um, just about the house itself, the physical house, it's actually about the community. It's about showing people how, like, what you can do to live here and what lifestyle is like here and what we do. And
Mhm.
showing our personality. I think that's the key to marketing is not everyone's going to like you and not everyone's going to want to work with you. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who are like, man, I don't want to work with that guy. And it's like, cool. That's probably a good thing.
Yep.
Um, there's probably someone else out there that likes BMWs and fancy cars and whatever. And
Yep.
it's not me. Um, so yeah, just trying to encourage everyone to be authentic to who they are welcome them for who they are, celebrate that, have fun with it, because I think we can all agree that real estate can be really stressful and it can not always be exciting in a good way. And
Yeah, it's true.
if you don't have fun with it, you're going to just start to resent your job, you know? And I think it's something that's pretty great and shouldn't be resented.
Good. Well, I appreciate your time. So thank you so much for hopping on. I know it was last minute, but I know that your business has been built on a lot of hard work, a lot of adjustments, especially through changing markets. You guys were not sure a few years ago when COVID hit how this was going to happen because you guys had literally just opened your own brokerage, but you have made it work. You guys have had the hard conversations. You've tweaked and adjusted things as needed, and you're doing amazing. So at the end of this year, roughly 120 closings with your team, and that's amazing. It considered that this market and last year were a little rough. So I congratulate you on that part of it. And then shameless plug, you guys, if you need an amazing team of realtors in Bellingham or surrounding area, Leo Cohen is who we're talking with here. But you've got an amazing team of people at Beham Real Estate. So you guys look them up. They're fantastic. And I will guarantee you 100%. Their very first and foremost is making sure that they know what they're doing so that their clients can have an amazing outcome. So, Leo, thanks for talking. I appreciate it. And I will chat with you in just a little bit.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All
And
right.
Alice, if you're looking for someone in South Oregon, shameless plug to Alice here, who crushes it day in, day out, and also obviously someone who I would refer anyone to down that way.
Awesome. I appreciate it. All right. I'll chat with you soon.
See you later.
Okay. Bye.